Now, the environment is not outside of us, it's in us. Because the trees, as we know, emit oxygen, and we breathe in oxygen. And we breathe out carbon dioxide, and they absorb that carbon dioxide. So it is an interchange and an interconnection that we have with the environment that is very important. And therefore, we need to protect the environment, because we are interconnected, and what we do to the environment will ultimately, in the long term, affect us. Now, with the airport being developed and coming on stream, there will be a lot of developments, infrastructure and otherwise, and so we cannot leave the environment behind. We have to also have parallel development in the environmental sphere. Now, we are interconnected with the environment, and therefore our mission should be to create a world where we can live in harmony with nature, because we are created to enjoy nature, not to destroy it. Now, who is the biggest threat to the environment? We, men, right? Because we are in a constant struggle for wealth and for progress and, to be powerful. And because of that, it has put a lot of stress on the environment. And so we at a point in our history where we are now looking at conservation efforts to protect and to preserve our environment. Now, what are some of the issues that we face currently? If you were to look around in your communities, you would find that there are a lot of issues that you have to contend with. And as I go along, you would start to say, because you start to identify with these issues. We have the issue of air pollution. And this is basically introducing chemicals and other materials and particles into the atmosphere. And this can cause harm to human beings, to other animals, and also it can damage the natural environment. Here we have emissions of smoke and other gases into the atmosphere from factories. We have the famous burning of tires that happen at Rabakan or other locations. We also have cars that emit and release these harmful chemicals. So if you were to look at this pie chart, you would realize that industries basically are the ones that contribute greatly to the air pollution. But that doesn't mean that at your commercial, at your residential level, that you are not also contributing to environmental degradation or environmental harm. SandyBay, right at the beach, if you look, there are a lot of garbage on the beach. Yeah, Big Sun. And actually, CWSA had done a cleanup in SandyBay and collected 9 trucks of garbage. 9 trucks of garbage. This should not be. We should be more responsible. Thank you very much. Garbage should come up all the time, and we need to be more responsible as citizens of St. Vincent and Grenadines and dispose of our garbage properly. Now, this is in Kingstown at Rose Place or Bottom Tongue. And this photo was taken by UNESCO in 2000. And this is the state of the river at that time. And sad to say, it has not gotten better. It is still contaminated. So, all in all, we can see at different corners of our country, persons are not being responsible and are not being disposing of the garbage properly. So, this photo basically sums up that what goes into the ocean goes into you. Now, what happens is that plastics are very important, and they constitute one of our major containers. We cook, we store food in them, we drink water from them, we wash clothes in them, etc., etc. But what happens is that plastics do not biodegrade. What does that mean? If you eat a banana and you throw the skin on the ground, it would break down slowly, and it would incorporate into the soil and become material that will fertilize the plants. Now, with plastics, they don't biodegrade. Plastics photodegrade, meaning that it breaks down into little particles over time. And these particles, they call them mermaid tears. That's the name they call them at. And these particles, when they're suspended or they're in water, fish mistake them for food and they eat them. Now, plastic is very poisonous. Now, it could poison the fish, poison a bird that eats the fish, or poison you that eat the fish. So when you pollute the environment, you are also contributing to your bad health. Also, plastics, when they are in the marine and in the water ecosystem, see, turtle eating paper. these fish are entangled and the turtle is entangled in tires because we destroy tires anyway and end up in the marine environment. And you see deformation because of rings and stuff like that. You have six-pack, like for the guys who like to buy the bear and so on, stuck on this animal. And you have crabs also suffering and whatever the case may be. So in short, we are saying that plastics and your garbage do harm the environment, okay? In terms of land-based pollution, and I say land-based because most of our pollution that ends up in the water are land-based. They come from the land. And so this is a photo that was taken. This actually is a compliment of SVG TV when they were doing this special on CWS in the cleanup. And I think I want to highlight this especially because this is SandyBay. And two, because it therefore means that there have been some efforts to educate the public on the issue of waste disposal and being responsible citizens when it comes to managing your waste and caring for your environment. This photo is at SandyBay. When you're going towards Miller Shop, on your left in the gutter, these are styrofoam plates and cups that are lodged in the gutter. This photo is at Georgetown, where they have tires just thrown down and other household waste. These photos are taken at Layne Hole. And this was a feature also on SVG TV that I took a photo of. And this is basically, these are white goods, industrial and construction waste that people would throw over the bank, the gutter. Now, if you know Big Sand very well, Big Sand has a bank going down towards the sea. I had a photo to show you tonight of the amount of garbage that's thrown over the bank every single day. We seem to like banks to throw things over. Every bank is a deposit for garbage, and we need to be responsible. Now this one is at Sally Spring. This is also complements SVG TV. And this is the town. You know, this is going down French's Day, thereabout, Sion Hill. And this is people who just indiscriminately and illegally dump their garbage here. As I said before, your garbage ends up here. It's a nice picture to show you, you know. It's not really a real picture, but it's a doctored picture to show you what really happens. So what can we do? Small steps can make big changes. And we need to start with baby steps, okay? Now, do not litter. Let me see hands of those who are guilty of this. Throwing things out of the vehicle when you're driving. Everybody in here guilty of it, except me, of course. Yes, some persons are responsible, and they have not been doing this, and that is very commendable. But if you notice, there is a fine for dumping. So this is illegal. The issue is the fines have not been implemented in many occasions, and so we have the issue perpetuating and continuing over time. So your responsibility is not to litter. Use bins. You might say there aren't enough bins in Kingstown and around the country. But the greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it. You are responsible for your garbage that you generate, and you should take steps to ensure that it is contained and disposed of properly. So don't blame it on the government or the bins, blame it on yourself. Okay? Now, do your part. Pick up garbage when you see it on the ground. This is important. We have tourists coming in, you want them to have a good impression of our country and that it's clean. And so we need to ensure that we pick up our litter. Here is a group of kids from the primary school in Brighton. They were cleaning up the Brighton beach. And if kids can do it, you can do it too. If boards can do it, so can you. So the other steps you can take is to put your garbage out on time for collection. Now, this garbage was placed sometime maybe long before the truck came or after, and the dogs had the better of it. This is Kingstown. So you need to be responsible to know what time these trucks are coming around, because they're going to take your garbage to the landfills. It's important. You are paying an environmental fee, and you need to be responsible and ensure that your garbage is contained, is collected, and is disposed of responsibly in a landfill. Now you can also recycle and reuse things. How many times you go to the shop and they give you plastic bags and plastic bags and plastic bags? When you get home, it ends up over the gutter. Why not take, you know, a cloth bag or, you know, a recycled bag and use it over and over and over again? In 6 months, you would have used 96 bags, plastic bags. And these end up where? In our gutters, in our streams, and in our ocean. You can also use tires, for example, to you know, reinforce, you know, banks that are actually slipping out, and you could also build up that area with sand, for example, as a retaining wall. So you can reuse your tires responsibly. You can plant a tree, and trees absorb 48 pounds of carbon dioxide a year. If you plant a tree, you reduce global warming. So you're responsible to reduce these things that affect us. I long for the day when we have the best village competition come back and the best school competition, because this sort of generated the impetus and the momentum to basically create an environment where it is clean and you plant nice flowers and so on. So what I've done, I basically took some photos around from Rabaka down to Connery, and to show you what we can do to beautify our environment. This is Rabaka. Just when you finish, when you come off the bridge and you're going towards Georgetown, before you meet Mary Jane or Miss Jane Bridge, this is the long stretch of green area you see there. So this is it right now. And this is what I am thinking of. To line it with palm trees, a nice hedge, so you give it a nice promenade, a nice look, like an avenue. This is Basin Hole, right? This is where Ancilla lives, Langley Park. This is the area that was washed away from, I think it's Hurricane Thomas, and there has been some work to restore it. If you put a tree here, some nice palms, nice little hedge, and a nice little, you know, garden, and some seats, you can transform that area where you can sit and you can recreate and you can feel good, you know? So this is maybe something we should want to think about in the future. Next, this is actually going down towards Black Point. There's a little ledge, a little area right off the side of the road, and I found to be a nice area. So I decided to play around with the software and develop some, you know, some ideas for this. So you can drive and admire the scenery as you go along. This is just above the same area that I talked about, and hit me with it. A nice Christmas tree, some palms, and some nice flowers. Now, these flowers are just what the program provided. It could be any flowers. It could be any trees that are you know, that are useful and that can contribute and enhance the appearance of the environment. This is actually when you leave Black Point and you come around the corner and you're going up towards Chester, where you have the tire shop. Same thing, hedges, nice palms, nice lawn, and you can actually just chill out there, you know, lime a little bit. Next, this is undermine. If you notice, this is garbage. These are sandbags, and it's really untidy. Nice hedge, nice lawn, nice palm, nice flowers. And you're entering the undermine. You're going towards Kingstown. I mean, that's a nice, you know, nice scenery to admire. This is when you're going back to country and you're meeting undermine for the first time. And I'm proposing this as a possible enhancement. This is Connery Long Stretch. And you know, it's a sad thing though that only once or twice or 3 times a year we clean it up. And it's a nice little stretch that needs to be kept clean. Proposing some trees, some palms, some hedges all the way up. So you get a nice little view all the way up. And I'm sure the tourists would enjoy it as much as we would. This is Argyle. Some part of Argyle, I'm not sure. I took it from somebody's website. But it's really the new road at Argyle. Palms, again, nice little flowers. And basically, it enhances the aesthetic and the view of the area.